Everybody, this is Brian back with another Fantom update. Alright, we can see this thing has obviously been on a down trend of lately. This thing has seen, it's been nothing but down, ever since this peak right here. So, you can see this wedge pattern that we had here. We ended up falling down out of it. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys, we have another wedge forming up right down here, and we're going to go over that here in a second. I want to show you what else is going on with the market real quick. Here's the crypto bubbles for the daily. You can see we got some green out there. And if I could ask you to hit the like and subscribe, I'd appreciate that so much, guys. Got a great group of people started in here. Got about 800 subscribers and good group of people. So if that's something that interests you, we'd love to have you here. So let's get moving on here. Here's the crypto bubbles for the week. We've got getting a lot of double-digit gainers out there. Trust Wallet up 30%, Cospa 30%, Stacks up 15.4% for the week. So getting some nice bounce back after last week's scare. All right, we also have of course, we got Bitcoin here doing its thing. We're first off, we're going to show the Bitcoin dominance, because that thing has been breaking up ever since it broke out of this wedge pattern. All right, I have a trend line on this thing. If we zoom in on the 4-hour, you can see it's following that trend line right up there. So this thing might have some more up room to it here. Okay, if this looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This could be the 5th wave coming in here. The way it looks, let's try a trend-based extension on this and see if it matches up with anything. Yeah. That could very well be the 5th wave coming in there. Okay, so this thing might extend up a little bit further, and then could possibly have a pullback. That's what we need to see happen in here. The DXY, of course, we've been watching that thing like a hawk here. Okay, if we go out to the daily on it, you can see ever since it hit that Fibonacci, that 786 up there, that thing has been rolling over ever since. But the only thing worrying is the daily RSI. If we take a look at that down there, the stochastic, you can see that thing is reset down here, and looks like it might make a little bit of a run this week. So we'll have to keep our eye on that, of course. And we got the total. I wanted to show you these charts because they're all tying in here. Okay, we have the total market cap excluding Bitcoin, and that thing is breaking down out of this wedge. Okay, now the total market cap with Bitcoin, I'm going to show you that here in a second, because it did the opposite. All right, we had this breakdown. Hopefully it's a fake out and it gets back up in this wedge. You see the fake outs quite a bit with stuff like this. All right, I want to show you, here's the total market cap with Bitcoin. It ended up doing a fake out down here. Okay, you can see the breakdown, and then it sucked it back up in here. So it's looking pretty decent. All right, Bitcoin itself, definitely want to show you that here real quick. Oop, I apologize. There we go. It is still in this falling wedge pattern. Okay, let me get these lines out of here. I apologize. I was charting some stuff earlier and watching some price action here to see if I wanted to get in a long on this thing or not. But it's coming to the top of this wedge. Okay, and on the daily, the RSI for this thing is getting right near the top. You can see the stochastics at a 93 and an 84. So we'd definitely like to see a breakout of this thing. Now, if you take this, hopefully we will get the breakout here. If you shorten this up, I was actually messing around with this chart a little bit earlier, take this down like that, that could be a wedge pattern right there too. If that's the case, it broke out of this wedge pattern, but the bigger one kind of fits a little bit better, so we'll see. If that's the case, if this was the wedge right here and we got the breakout, then it will break out of the bigger one, obviously. But let's get over to Fantom here and get a look at this coin. That's what you're here for, so let's get a look here. Let's widen this out. There we go. Alright, now what we got going on with this thing, first off, we ended up having this massive wedge pattern up top here, okay, which ended up breaking down. If we draw this thing out real quick, we had this line here, then on the lower end we had this coming up here. Okay, and then we ended up getting a breakdown out of that. All right, now down at this lower end, you know, and if you take the measured move of this wedge right here, let's get a measurement of that thing. You know, the width of the wedge, which might, you know, sounds like, you know, we're getting close, obviously, by the, you know, by the looks of this thing, where we're at right now. You know, if we put a horizontal line on this thing, where we're at right now is right there. So it's getting pretty close to a bottom here with this thing, okay? If it hasn't hit it already, all right? The measured move, you know, if we move it over just a hair, you know, then it looks like it tapped out. So this could be the bottom for it, all right? Now, if we zoom in here a little bit further on this 4-hour chart, I want to show you something here, because we have another wedge forming right now, which looks like it's on the verge of breaking out any time, maybe tomorrow, maybe today. You know, it's at the very end of this wedge pattern now. We zoom in here, all right, you can see the 4-hour RSIs on the floor. So let me get my arrow out here. We're going to go over a couple of the other ones here. I don't see any bullish divergence in there or anything. I was kind of looking for, you know, you have your, on the 4-hour, you have actually this low here, then you have a lower low over here, so possibly bearish divergence coming up in here. Let's put a trend line on there. I was looking on it just a hair lower. You know, it's close. It's very, very close. You know, me personally, I'm kind of expecting this thing to break up. All right, but you know, if this really is bearish divergence in here, it's close. All right, it's too close to really call. You know, it's nothing that really sticks out. All right, if we move out to the daily chart, Fantom's getting right near the top there. In fact, it flipped bearish on the daily stochastic down here. It's at a 88 and 89. Still have a green candle on the daily, but then if we go out to the weekly, look at this. This thing is just turning up on the weekly, 7.67 and a 3.81. So that's obviously what we want to see here. And if we clean this chart up, let's get rid of everything on here. You know, the weekly, the last time the weekly was this low was back, what was it, a year ago? June of 2022, the whole way back here. You know, when we were at these levels last time, all right. What ended up happening last time, you had this run right here with the weekly, which was 117%, and then you obviously had this pump right here with the weekly, which ended up being, well, big move, 200 and 300%, a 3x. So we'll keep an eye on this thing. If we get a breakout or anything, we have another weekly green candle started here. You can see that. So we go out to the monthly. What's the monthly at? The monthly's coming down. There's not a whole lot of data on this. The monthly goes back on this chart. Starts in October of 2022. It finally had enough data to start registering on the monthly. So the weekly though is reset, which is beautiful to see. We're going to have to keep an eye on that wedge pattern on that lower time frame, that 4-hour, and see if this thing gets the breakout down here. I'll be keeping an eye on that. We get a breakout, I'll be back with you. We get a breakdown, I'll be back with you. But looks like this correction might be done. We might have bottomed out down there at 0.2183. Right down there, 0.218. That might have been the bottom. So the best thing to do if you're charting this thing, draw this trend line in there, you know, and keep an eye on it. Just put a trend line in there nice and tight. If it breaks down through there, if you lose that trend line, then chances are, you know, if it comes down and then comes back and back tests and rolls over, then we're heading down. All right, so that's your best thing to do if you're charting this thing yourself. So all right guys, please hit the like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot.